I don't even I passed this point, but I want to learn.
Welcome to the 5-minute production app where Sid knows how to live stream and Dimitri knows how to make a 5-minute production app. So good division of labor here.
Perfect. I'm totally okay with that. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Dimitri, and this is our weekly meeting of about 5-minute production app, and I will give you a short demo as usual. So this week was busy with security fixes and some architectural changes, so we don't have much, but we have one thing that I find really important, and it's SSL, because like what production app is without HTTPS these days? And yeah, if we go to deploy template of 5-minute production app, we have a new link in the documentation that's enabling SSL. And we try to follow those steps and get SSL working for our application. Now, application is this one, and it's a simple closure application, and GitLab CI YAML is pretty much what we used to have during those demos. So it has DB migrate script, and it includes deploy template. Of course, AWS environmental variables are defined in CI/CD section. So that's pretty much what we have. And let's go back to the deploy template. So the first sentence says that we need to provide two variables, cert domain and cert email for your pipeline, typically done by adding variables to GitLab CI YAML file. Okay, let's do that. First one is cert domain, and cert domain is probably what they want me to have for this application. And cert email, yeah, I'll just use my work email. And yeah, I think I type it all correct. That's connected. Going back to the template, SSL certificate jobs are only enabled on protected branches. By default, master branch is protected. Okay, I make changes directly to master branch, so we should be set here. Now, execute the setup instruction job in the pipeline. We use the job logs for instruction of how to configure DNS records for your domain. Okay, let's take a look at our pipeline. Okay, indeed, I have the new stage that I didn't have before with setup instructions job and SSL certificate job. So let's wait for pipeline to finish. In the meantime, let me introduce some updated documentation. So now we have a variables section that lists all the variables that you need to provide, or that 5-minute production app provides to the user, and it's all listed there in one small table with description, default values, and explanation like is it required or not, and is it like pipeline variable, or is it a variable that is exposed to your web application inside Docker container. So yeah, if you're unsure, you can always go to this table to check out. Okay, Terraform apply job. This one should be fast. There's no changes to the infrastructure recently, so it should be nice. One important addition that we introduced this week is that yeah, your application in Docker container now runs through Nginx. So we have Nginx as reverse proxy in front of it. So it now looks like a more mature solution. And we'll go away from the job blocks just in case. We need to wait for deploy job to finish, and then we can proceed. I could have those variables in CI YAML up front and have pipeline run, but then it's creates this sort of confusion when you just watch the demo of people presenting something. It's already, everything is ready, and they don't do stuff, and then you try it on your own, and it's like all these failures and misunderstandings. So I think it's just worth spending a few minutes for pipeline to actually run and type all those domain variables manually. Okay, so my pipeline is done, and let's remember again what we need to do. We need to execute stop instruction job in the pipeline and view logs for instructions. Okay, let's do that. I'm wondering if our environment runs now. Okay, so it says DNS setup instructions, create an A record and point out to IP address, execute SSL certificate job. So I did already connect this AP to the DNS because otherwise we would need to wait another half an hour to connect the domain. So I assume in a real world example, you would need to do this. You would need to go to your DNS provider, create this A record, and then you run this SSL certificate job. And if it fails, that means probably DNS is not updated, so you just retry it a bit later in a few minutes, and then when it's passed, it means that yeah, everything is good, and SSL certificates are generated for your domain. Okay, it updated the configuration, and yeah, the job is green, so it's passed. So now we can go to the environments, and we open the link, and we see that it's actually running on the HTTPS, and the connection is secure. So yeah, the environment, GitLab environment understands that you have a domain name associated, and it generated a valid certificate that is attached to this domain. So your application is running on HTTPS now.
Very cool. Can you maybe show the setup instructions again?
Yes. So set instructions, provide two variables, certificate domain and certificate email. So this is,
I mean the job setup instructions.
Yeah. Let me go there. CI/CD pipelines. Setup instructions. Yes, here it is.
Cool. So like what you didn't have yet is the IP address. So you kind of need that before you can do it.
Yeah. We have an idea for further step is that we'll just take, we know the IP address from Terraform state even before this job. So what we can do, we can use some domain provider like nib.io and just assign you domain based on IP address automatically. So you don't need to do all those steps. And then when you're ready to come with your own personal domain, then you like go through all this process. So this is under discussion because I probably like a lot of people who will try it for the first time say, yeah, either don't have a domain name for it or, like don't care at first. So maybe using something like.
I think considering that browsers are just almost not supporting websites that don't have an SSL thing, like you get all kinds of warnings. I think it's not about having a beautiful domain name. It's just about having something with an SSL certificate. So I love NIP, or I think SIP is the thing we're recommending for some reason. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. So this is like for next thing. We have an issue for that already. And yeah, generate domain from IP address and generate a SSL certificate. So this way we skip HTTP completely. So it's like your first deploy should be already on SSL, just like it will have the domain name generated from IP address. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Like you can always update it. Okay, I stopped sharing my screen. So that was it. Do you have any question?
Couple of things, if you allow me. I put them on number 4. I love the new table. Thanks for that. The variables table. It's too wide on my machine, so I can't see it properly. Maybe what we can do is we can shorten some of the Terraform variables, and maybe even though it's factually incorrect, maybe add a space in the middle of the super long example key so that it can be broken up, because it's one thing without a space. And then, yeah, I'm not sure about 6, so I'm going to remove it. Maybe call it something else than setup instructions, maybe DNS record instructions. And then also maybe the setup instructions or DNS record instructions can also like link to the source code. And you can see like, oh, figure out here, I'm figuring out the IP and I'm looking in, I don't know, Terraform, whatever, so that people, they don't have to wait for the deploy, but they can kind of reverse engineer it and help themselves.
Yeah, we can think of it. Like right now, the way it works is like, is a first iteration just to actually, reach the point of SSL working. I think once we have nib.io or whatever, like, domain provider based on IP address, we would need to resync this strategy anyway, because then it would be like there would be no such jobs. Like you don't need the setup instructions or SSL generation job. You would just have it all in one and run automatically as a part of pipeline. And then when you bring in custom domain, then we would probably resync it a bit differently. But yeah, thanks for suggestions.
Okay, so that's all fine. So let's wait for that zip thing to do, and then let's so please disregard that. And then very small thing, but maybe we can use numbered lists in the README. So if you have a list of instructions, you can refer to number 3 or number 2. Instead of bullet points. But yeah, just overall, like super cool. We have SSL working, which is great. And it's not trivial. I looked at the Heroku instructions, and there's quite a few pages to get that working on Heroku. So great job.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I like how it works. It's like it's getting better. So yeah, as usual, thanks Sri for for doing a lot of work with this SSL certificate generation. So kudos to that, and for fighting with all the security issues that we brought with with credentials and everything. So. Okay, so few words about the plans for next week is number one, we would look at this IP address domain generation. Number two is that I'm working on a draft merge request to GitLab repo with 5-minute production app YAML file. Yeah, let me share the screen really quick. So my first goal is to bring it as a separate template, and you might have concerns about this, but this is just the most boring solution, is to have it selectable among GitLab templates. Because integrating it out of DevOps would take some time. We probably need some abstraction bringing, because out of DevOps is still Kubernetes focused. So I suggest we just start with a separate template and then slowly bring it inside out of DevOps. So there is a merge request.
You might get into trouble, and I might not be able to help you there. But let's go. I'm not stopping you either from trying this. Great.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like it becomes more common thing to get in trouble with GitLab developments. It won't be my first time. Okay. Yeah, we'll see if it's like if it goes in, and if it does, then like yay, we have it as a part, like shipped as a part of GitLab. If not, well, you would need to pass 2 lines in your CI YAML file, but it's still like it's still usable and it still can benefit it. And I think if we make a blog post and some, share some information about it, I'm pretty sure people will use it. Anyway, I'm looking into this CI template merge request, see if I can get it to some reasonable state, and we are going to work into simplifying the domain generation and making it a default thing. And yeah, and I think that's pretty much it.
Cool. I'm opening up the. Oh no, I saw that there was other people who have questions. Michael?
I didn't have questions. I just wanted to give a heads up on the first blog post, which is in review. It should be published today, hopefully. And I'm looking into other topics which include Terraform, database management, and maybe a hackathon. Hackathon, especially in that regard, because today at AWS reInvent at the live demo session, I just wanted to try it out, and it worked. It was super fun. And I've tweeted about it and shared it on LinkedIn as well. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to find ways to like test it and motivate others to try it out then. And for the blog post, Dimitri, just ping me if we can collaborate and do something.
Yeah, sounds Michael. And great news that you tried it out.
It's amazing. I'm like playing the first time user card, and I have no idea. I'm just like following the steps, credentials, and template include, and watching it. And so, oh, that's awesome. That's really like, I have no idea how it works in the background. It just works. It's awesome.
It's amazing, and I think like we're just 2 weeks into the quarter, and basically we have something that is already very far along. We can try merging it in the GitLab core, and then from there we can start working on the rough edges and all the UX and the UI and make that better. So, and test with users, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of, as people start using this, we'll get a lot of feedback, or we'll get very valid feedback. Maybe not a lot, but valid feedback. So very excited. I think this is way ahead of where I expected it to be. So great work, Sri. Thank you for your work. Really appreciate it. Looking at the issue board, it's really good. I think you're prioritizing the right things. So I'm excited. Michael, thanks for the blog post. I'm a very happy camper with this. I'm very excited. And for context, I think Kubernetes is a great thing. It's a great thing that happened to GitLab. We doubled down on it, but we've seen, for example, in Monitor APM that like there's a lot of people who are not yet using Kubernetes for good reasons. Like volume snapshots just shipped, like stateful apps are still hard on Kubernetes. So I think I'm really excited about using Terraform and more mundane, more practical things. And I think we'll reach a way bigger audience and have something that's usable by far more people. So this is super exciting.
Yay.
Anyone wants to close us out with that last point? Sri, how has it been for you working on this?
Hey, all right. It's been good. It's been you're asking me now, and it's been like a really busy few days. So probably not the best time to ask me this question, but on the whole, it's been like a great experience. I think we've done we've done really good in the past 6-7 weeks that we worked. So we have something, but now it's time to just close all the bugs, make it as secure as possible, and try to ship it in 13.7. A bit optimistic here. Let's see what happens.
Very cool. Yeah, and shout out to Jürgen who did the security testing. That was great work as well. Appreciate it. Thanks,
Absolutely.
everyone.